Alright, welcome back to Dents and Dings. I've moved the MG up here. Obviously last night I got that horn working. I also installed it off camera. I'll show you that in a bit. Right now I moved it here. I have the front end lifted up a bit. I'm going to be replacing the rotors and front brake pads because, like I mentioned before, the rotors were getting eaten away, so they need to be replaced. To help me with that, I didn't watch a video, but I have my Haynes workshop manual. Unfortunately, this manual covers the entire line of MGBs, so there are differences which makes this kind of useless when you're looking at things specific to this model. There's also difficulties, like I mentioned, with the carburetors, because these aren't original, so obviously someone's been piecing this together. So it's a bit of a mix and a match, but I would love to get the one that's more specific to rubber bumpers, but they're a bit expensive, so I've held off on buying it for now. For the most part, I can find most of what I need online, on forums and things. So, anyways, this has just enough information, I think, to get through the whole brake rotor replacement process. Yeah, I'll move you in a second, and then we could also take a look at where I installed the horn. I didn't install it where it was originally. Remember, I was taking it apart here. It might be a bit blurry right now because I think the focus is a bit off, but both sides there's a horn. I removed them both, and then I installed the new one on the inside of the fender well, and I'll show you that in a second. Well, might as well do it now. Alright, I'm going to be starting with this side. I'll be removing these lugs. I'm going to have to lower it again so I could actually break them free, but I've taken this off already, obviously, because I took a look at the rotor and everything. And, yeah. So I'll lower it, loosen these up, and then lift it again, and then work on that. So, I'll be right back with my lug wrench and after I load this. Alright, so loosen again. Alright. Fortunately, I scored a new pair of tires with these when I bought it. He had replaced them, I think, the summer before. So these are pretty new. 2021 it looks like. I mean, that's 4 years, but again, being a summer driver, and I'm pretty sure he only replaced them not too long ago anyways. Or, well, if it's only been a year or two, it's not awful. And there's still plenty of tread on these things, even after the trip home. So, that's great. These should last me a little while. One thing, the spare tire is bad. I'll need to replace the tire on there. Right. 4 lugs. The spoke tires on these have a single center lug, of course, and, well, I'm glad I got the alloy wheels instead, because, well, don't get me wrong, the spoke wheels look great, but I think they look best on chrome bumpers. I think the alloys look best on the black bumpers. Now that's off. Alright, now come over here and I'll show you my horn and this rotor up close. Alright, so here's the rotor situation. I don't know if it's showing up too well on camera, but it's very rough, especially on this end. I think that's where it was scraping the most. Let's see if maybe I can get closer and show you. Nah, it's not going to show up well. But anyways, it's pretty rough. And the other side is the same situation. There's like no pad left on those brakes. So we'll be replacing those today, along with the rotor. I got the whole box a couple days ago. And over here is the horn I installed. The Uga horn. It's, you know, it's there. It's maybe not the best place for it, but it's where I could fit it without modifying too much. There were just bolts in there for the bracket that were already there that were holding the old horn. So I took out those bolts and the bracket, of course, and then I just fed the wires through one hole and bolted this on through the other. And that worked out pretty well. So yeah, that works there. It's still loud enough, I think. And yeah, I don't know. It's better than installing it directly in front of the radiator, blocking airflow. But if it falls off, it'll be smashed right under the tire. So at least I'll know that my horn is no longer functional, because I'll feel that. So that's good. Alright, so we'll get to work on this then. There's a few steps in the book. I'll follow along to try to figure this out. Alright. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I don't think it's showing well, but anyways. So I'm going to remove the pads first from the caliper. I'll be replacing them anyways, so I'm going through this process. There's a couple cotter pins there, and here, well, there's two here, and then retaining springs holding the pads in place. So I'll need to remove those pins, and then the pads should be able to slide up the back. If all goes to plan, at least. There it is. Okay. Alright, let's pull these pins. Ugh. There we go. And there goes one of the springs. I think I have replacements, but if not, I'm just going to hold on to them just in case. There. I probably should have paid attention to which orientation that is, but hopefully I can at least figure it out later. Now, as for actually fitting these out, let's see. Okay, let's press down. Well, apparently they should just come right out. Mine are not. Oh, there we go. There. This is the bad pad. You can, well, now that's all flashing because it's out of sync, but anyways, yeah, that wear is not even, and there was just a sliver of pad left on this side, and none left on that side. So, we'll get that sorted. And if I can get this other pad out, I can show you that one isn't as worn, so I might have an issue there. See, this side actually has a lot of play left, or pad left, I should say. Yeah, so hopefully that's not a big issue that we can figure out here. So I guess the next step will be to remove the caliper, and because that's how we need to get to the rotor. So I'll stop here while I figure out how to do that. I'm gonna remove the nuts holding this caliper into position. Seems to use a 5/8 socket on the back. We'll just get them loosened from there. It's a bit hard to get the leverage. Ugh. Wow, that doesn't want to turn. Let me see. Alright, I might need to get some more leverage. Oh, what do I have? I need a pipe. Okay, I have a breaker bar. We'll see if this can get me the leverage I need. Ugh. There. Oh, that was tight. Now in the manual, it said there was a lock washer with like the ears style that bends up, but it looks like those have been broken off before, so maybe someone's already removed this caliper at some point. So I don't know, they're just tight. There we go. Now it should be loose enough for me to get it with the socket wrench. Okay, they're bolts, not nuts. I got that wrong. And there's the caliper. Alright, let's set that down. Well, now we just have a free rotor. Alright then, so now to remove this, I believe it's just these 4 nuts here that hold it, well, this outer piece in place. Maybe there's something under the hub cap. I'll have to check that out. Let's see here. Okay, I do need to remove the hub, and that tells me to go to another chapter. So, we'll stop here. I'll figure that out, and I'll get back when I'm ready to take apart the hub. Alright, I think we're ready to open it up, or at least figure it out. What's happening with my screen? Okay, anyways. So I got to pull this cap off. Which, as far as I can tell, just needs to be pried off. Ugh. Watch the fingers. Alright, now it's free. Alright, there's your cap. My cap, whatever. And, huh. Do I need to go any further? Did I even need to do that? You know what? Let's just go. We'll see if that was enough. Or even too much. Alright, so the correct way to have done it was to remove the pin on that hub nut that was on there, and to pull out, of course, remove that nut, the cotter pin, and then you can just slide the entire thing out. What I've set there are the bearings. I'll probably work on those a bit before I reinstall it. They seem fine, everything's greased up well, and they weren't making noise, so that's good. So now this is off, I'll need to still remove these, and then I can install the new rotors that I got. They're nothing special, you'll see them in a moment, but I'll finish up this and then you can see that then. So yeah, I'll separate this. I believe they were 9/16. Yeah, 9/16 for each of these, so I'll need to get those. Maybe I'll need to get them from the back side too, but I don't know, maybe I won't need to. We'll see. Also, I need to figure out how I'm actually going to do that. Maybe I'll find an impact. That might be the best way. Alright, so I've removed the nuts. Now I just need to get the bolts out of the way so I can actually pull them apart. They're a bit stuck at the moment. Now to do that, I think... I will just do this. Is that enough? Are you gonna get free? There are lock washers on each of these, so you gotta try not to lose them. There's one out. Alright, I gotta hold lock washers away. Ow! Come on, just separate. Why are you being so mean? Nerd. There we go. Now it's out. I'll need to clean that up a bit. But here's the rotor. I'll just drop those bolts out. There we go. So, yeah. That's not the best. I'm going to pick up the new rotors. They're just on the floor over there. I also should grab a rag. Alright, here's one of the new rotors. It's nothing special. It was just what I found cheap online, but I think it'll work. And yeah, it's about the same, similar thickness and same height and everything, so this should just be able to go right on. But of course I need to clean up that hub a bit and maybe grease up those wheel bearings, so I'm gonna do that. And then I think I'll just see you once it's all put back together then. The new rotor is on and the bearings are greased. See, that spins much better than it did before. Alright, I gotta throw the cotter pin in here yet, put the cap back on, and then I'll be changing the pads next. And then once I'm done with this side, I gotta do the same thing to the other side. But at least I'll know what I'm doing, so... Alright, yeah, I'll get that pin back in. I need to change the battery on the camera yet, so, yeah, I'll do those first, before I reinstall the caliper and the new pads. Only 2 bolts hold the caliper in place. I'll tighten those down. Actually, you know what, let's fit the pads in first before we tighten them down. I think the little pushers are in the right position already, but I just want to be safe. Get them, and well, hold on, let me show you these new pads compared to the old one. That's the really bad one. the old one that I thought looked okay-ish. I don't know if you can see, but let's see. This one's the original, this one's the new one. The new one's got a lot more pad to it, so yeah. Get them replaced, and I should have good front brakes. Now, that said, I will need to do the rear brakes at some point, because I noticed that it was leaking a bit of brake fluid back there, so I got a rebuild kit for that, but I'm holding off on doing it because it's at least a slow leak. I don't really notice it much, and I mean it still stops, and once I get this done I have full front brakes, so that's great. Alright, these are in position. Then I have to put these springs in. Let's see. The other way. Kind of difficult getting these fitted in all the way. Come on. This rear one just doesn't want to go. Oof. Come on. There we go. It just needs a little bit of a push. Okay. Now let's get that pin in. Oh, these are always fun. Oh, I wish this would just go easy, but no, they never really do. Alright, I just gotta split the cotter pin. Ugh, come on. Alright, that'll be good. Now I gotta do the other spring. Ugh. This part is fun. It's fun. I'm enjoying myself. Ugh. Come on now. Okay, where'd my pliers go? Ugh. Come on now. Alright, well, I'm going to tighten the rear ones. I believe that was the 5/8 socket. Oh. Alright. Bolts in. Need to finish with that cotter pin. Let's give the shoes a bit of a tap. I don't think they're seated all the way. There we go. That did it. Now let's get this split. Alright, now those are in. I think I need to bleed it a bit to get them actually compressed onto it. Gotta make sure my brake fluid's not about to empty. Okay, well I'll do that, and well I guess that's about it for this though. There's my brake pad and rotor replacement. So, I think that'll be about it for this episode then. Thanks for watching. I'm going to get back to this and do the other side, so I'm not going to bore you with that. It's the same thing, but basically mirrored. Well, threading's the same, so that's nice. Alright. Goodbye. Hello, Dents and Dings. Let's see. You join me today in my, not the MG, but my Cadillac. I was going to take the MG today, but took it for a test drive, tested the brakes out, and I was still getting that issue where the driver's side brake was just getting really hot. And that's because the brakes aren't completely disengaging, which is most likely a caliper issue, at least that I can think of. There's a few reasons for this. One, looking at the calipers, I don't think they've ever been rebuilt, so they're, 46 years old and haven't really been messed with. And another thing is a previous owner issue. In the trunk, when I bought the car, was a bottle of brake fluid, but not DOT3, which is what's recommended, or even DOT4. What it was is the silicone-based DOT5. When you mix the silicone-based DOT5 with DOT3, or, any non-silicone-based brake fluid, it can wreak havoc. And I think that's what really killed the pistons and seals on that caliper. So, this morning I just ordered a pair of new calipers. I know. I could have just ordered a rebuild kit and done that, but, I know. Plenty of people will say, stick to the original, just rebuild it. It'll be better than anything you can replace. And I'm sure you're right. But the thing is, I just need something to get the car drivable. Just drivable enough. It doesn't need to last forever. It just needs to last, I don't know, maybe at least through the summer. Get me a few good rides in the car, and I'll be happy with them. If and when they go bad, I'll order a rebuild kit and rebuild the original calipers. But for now, I just decided to order some, so I don't know. It's just frustrating now, because I really wanted to take it to work today, at least drive it around, get it on the road a bit after I got the brakes rebuilt, so now I'm going to have to go back to the brakes, rebuild them further, and the fun thing is I still have to rebuild the rear brakes, too. Those are drum brakes. I have all the innards for that I need to do, but yeah, maybe I'll include that in this episode, I don't know. Probably not, because if I'm lucky and those calipers arrive this week, I'll film myself doing that, just swapping them out, but I don't think I'll have enough time to do the rears this week, because I want to be able to take the car out this weekend to a friend's place. So, for that, I need functioning brakes, and ones that aren't gonna wear out my wheel bearings from overheating. So, anyways, that's the plan, and yeah. The brake issue, it's back. Well, it never left, really, but okay. That explains why the driver's side pads were completely worn through, though, because if they weren't releasing or relieving pressure, then of course it's just gonna wear down the most and wear into the rotor like it did. So double check what kind of fluid you put into it. It's okay to mix DOT4 and 3, at least as far as I can tell, but DOT5, plain DOT5, that's silicone based, does not mix with the older DOTs. And I think even DOT 5.1 would have been okay, because that's not silicone based. That's the same base as the other two. But because you throw in a silicone based in a system that was set up for DOT3 and probably still had DOT3 in the system, You're just causing it to gunk up. So I'm probably also going to have to clear out the lines, drain out all the brake fluid, and refill it with DOT3. Somehow flush it out before, but... Okay, this has been my rant. I think that should work for an introduction. Dents and dings. Brake calipers.